Hi, my name is Rae. I'm 25, I'm from the Midwest, and this is the story and documentation of my brain being f***ing sick. So as you saw in the last clip, my name is Rae. I am 25, and at the ripe age of 25, while other people are having their quarter-life crisis, I was diagnosed with a rare brain disease that doesn't have a cure. Well, welcome back. Things look a little bit different than they did in that last clip, didn't they? That last clip was filmed on July 22nd, exactly 11 hours before my lumbar puncture. And oh shit, do I have a story for you. I'm choosing to reshoot my entire first video. It was 30 to 35 minutes of me just rambling and repeating myself, and at that point early in my journey, I thought I could just speak from the heart and really tell people what was going on, but at that point, I hadn't had my first lumbar puncture. I was waiting to see my neuro-ophthalmologist. I was newly diagnosed and thought, to be honest, I was ready. There were multiple times I'm saying that I felt like I was ready to take on whatever came next, but little did I know 12 hours later I would be getting a lumbar puncture that resulted in quite possibly the worst week of pain I've ever had in my life. And since then, I've seen 2 more doctors. I have a lot of other stuff going on, and I still have a long ways to go. So instead of free-form speaking, I thought, why not maybe map this out so it's a bit more helpful for both myself and for you, and there's less repeating. So I'm sure you're asking, Rae, you said in the beginning of this video that your brain's f***ing sick. What does that mean? And why are you filming these videos to begin with? Well, starting in March, I got really sick, and after lots of testing and trials and lots of tribulations along the way, I got diagnosed with a rare brain disease called IIH, otherwise known as Idiopathic Intracranial Hypertension. It's also been known in the past as pseudotumor cerebri, but officially in the medical world, it is IIH. I'm gonna read directly from my phone, like I did in the last video, because it is the best way to explain to you what IIH is. So IIH is a disease related to high pressure in the brain. It causes signs and symptoms of a brain tumor. Sometimes it is called pseudotumor cerebri, as I stated, or benign intracranial hypertension. The fluid that surrounds the spinal cord and brain is called cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF. IIH has many symptoms. All will be listed here by my wonderful editor, otherwise known as my fiance, Josie. So basically, at its core, IIH is your body mimicking a brain tumor, and you have high CSF. So all of that extra spinal fluid is pressing on your brain and sometimes your spinal cord and can damage your optic nerve and thus also hurt your vision. My journey of getting diagnosed with IIH is a little bit different than other people's. I've never really had migraines. Headaches weren't something that was normal in my life. It all started back in March of 2020 of this year. I had a very large ovarian cyst rupture on my left side that ended me in the ER. I had some weird side effects after that endeavor, and they weren't really lining up with what should be after an ovarian cyst rupture, so we started looking deeper, and one morning I woke up with pulsating tinnitus in my right ear. Now, if you aren't sure what pulsating tinnitus sounds like, here's a little clip. Now, that noise that you just heard was really loud and in my right ear, and it's a lot different than the normal ringing that you may hear in your ears. And the fact that it was only in one ear kind of worried me. All of a sudden, I had really bad fatigue. I couldn't eat without puking. I had dizzy spells, and suddenly, when I laid down on one side, I would lose my vision. So after talking with some friends and family a week in, I decided it might be a good idea to go see a doctor. Now, this was a week or 2 into everything being shut down in the Midwest due to coronavirus, and I made the decision that even though there might have been a long wait, or that there might be some other factors going into it, this is something I should get checked out, because with the severity of my symptoms happening and how it was affecting my everyday life so quickly, I figured I should at least talk to somebody about it. So I waited about 2 weeks and I saw an ENT, or an ear, nose, and throat doctor. I immediately walked in and I told them I was starting to have some hearing problems too. That pulsating tinnitus, that vision loss, that nausea, those random dizzy spells were really starting to get amped up, and it had all been less than a month. I got a hearing test. The doctor walked in and, to be frank, was awful. The doctor never looked in my ear. The doctor pressed on my jaw and said, you have TMJ. Also, you need to lose some weight. But if you still feel this way in about 5 weeks, call me and maybe I'll get you in for a CT. So that's what I did. I waited 5 weeks. I begged his office. I started getting more symptoms. My vision loss started to progress actually pretty quickly. And before I knew it, they finally called me back on week 4 and ordered a CT for me. The day of my CT, I went in, everything went smoothly, and I went home. I wasn't really expecting to hear answers, but lo and behold, 12 hours later, the doctor called me himself, and the words out of his mouth were, "I think you have a brain tumor." He immediately put me on the phone with the neurology team. The neurology team immediately scheduled an MRI, an MRV, and a CTA, stating I needed to get it done ASAP, because what they found looked like pits in my brain, and it looked like possibly one of my arteries over on my right side was almost completely blocked off by my eye. Now, at this moment, I began to panic. I'm 25, I just got a new job, I'm working from home, there's the COVID-19 pandemic, I haven't seen my friends or family, and I just got told I might have a brain tumor. So I went in, I got the testing done. As soon as I got that testing done, I saw a neurologist. I immediately got put on Diamox, and I was told, thankfully you don't have a brain tumor, you have IIH. And that was kind of the start of my journey. Now, I only got officially diagnosed in May. It took from March 10th to the beginning of May to get diagnosed, because every doctor that I talked to in the beginning pushed it off and told me that I just needed to lose weight, that this was TMJ, that it was just something that didn't make sense, that it was me, it was in my head. But lo and behold, not only do I have a brain disease, but after seeing other doctors, it looks like I have 2 autoimmune diseases, and possibly some other things. So let me introduce you to my Avengers medical team. I have my neurologist, I have my neuro-ophthalmologist, I have my ophthalmologist, I have my neurointerventional radiology team, which is a subspecialty. I then have my primary care doctor, I have a therapist, and I have a psychiatrist who helps make sure that my medication that I have for my mental health makes sense with everything else. I also am getting a rheumatologist. I'm in the process of meeting an endocrinologist, and I am possibly being seen by a rare disease specialist. I don't know what those are called. This was only just recently brought up to me, so when I understand what that is, I will tell you more. I rate my side effects into 5 major categories. Those categories are how it affects my full body, how it affects just my head and my brain, how it affects my everyday life, how it affects me mentally, and random other things that it may affect me. So let's talk about how IIH and whatever else is going on with whatever's going on in my bullshit body is affecting me. I'm really fatigued. I can sleep up to 17 to 20 hours and still be super tired. Along with that, I get all over body aches. And the all over body aches are whether I'm walking around or whether I'm laying down. They're just constant. I have really bad joint pain, and all of my joints, which is zero fun when I'm 25. And if I'm really realistic with myself, I can't really do anything physically. Going down the stairs makes me dizzy. Going up the stairs makes me dizzy. Going to the bathroom makes me dizzy. I've lost the ability to bend over because every time I bend over, I just lose consciousness and pass out. One of the side effects of my medication that I'm taking is that I get electric feelings in my hands, my feet, my mouth, my nose, and my eyes. So if I walk for more than a minute or 2, that feeling of when your feet are starting to wake up after they've, I guess, gone to sleep is what people call it. That electric feeling where it's like bees and it hurts. I can get that in my feet and in my hands for almost a full day for no reason at all. I'm still experiencing that nausea that I had back in March. It didn't go away. Basically, I drink Ensures most of the day. It's really the only thing that I won't immediately feel like I'll puke up or doesn't make my stomach immediately hard and hurt and throb. I can get in a solid meal or two if I'm super lucky. I take anti-nausea meds to help, and I've recently started with a medication that I take first thing in the morning to see if it helps me be able to digest food easier, but that's something that I'm dealing with a lot as well. About a month or two ago, my sister moved in to help me since I don't really have much independence anymore. Being alone isn't really an option for me since I'm at a risk of both a stroke and a seizure. So she helps me around a lot because I can't really make my own food. I can't really do anything for myself, including drive. That's one of the fun random things. I can't drive. But one thing that really sucks that I've kind of have to come to terms with is I can't shower by myself. Anytime I shower by myself, I end up passing out, no matter what the temperature is or if I'm in a shower chair. So it's typically like 3-4 minute in and out showers with the shower chair. It's fun. I'm 25 and I can't shower alone. Now we go on to the head and brain category. So this is the one where I see a lot of symptoms. Things like I get migraines a lot. I have constant pain in the back of my head. So we think the pain in the back of my head is because there's something called your transverse sinuses in the back of your head. They're basically veins. They're crown shaped, they meet in the back of your head, and then they go down, and they're things that drain all of your CSF. Both of mine are blocked, and my right is much worse than my left, making me a candidate for stents. So that's something we're currently looking into, but I get a lot of throbbing pain exactly where those veins are. My temples are swollen. To be honest, most of my face is swollen. When that happens, it's aggravating because it hurts to lay down on the sides of my head, but also wearing glasses becomes almost excruciating because anything touching where it's swelling gives me a lot of pain. I'm losing my eyesight. It's kind of just that simple. I've been to a neuro-ophthalmologist and I have swelling in my eyes, and they can already see the damage in my right eye from my optic nerve. Part of it's already dead, and I'm losing the peripheral vision on my right eye. On this side, it's almost gone. On the left side, my peripheral vision on this side is almost gone, so looking towards my nose. And it just hurts. Watching TV, I can't really do. Reading is absolutely not. My vision has worsened from this, but no amount of glasses can help with that. Prisms got added to my prescription, so it's kind of just a waiting game because as soon as that pressure is released, we're hoping that there isn't as much damage as it looks like there is, so that's kind of something that we just continue to monitor. But I'm in the lucky category. A lot of people end up losing their vision, so though I'm going slowly blind, some people go rapidly blind, and for that, I can be at least a bit thankful. If you would have known me before all of this, you would know that I really like Dr. Pepper, and I really like LaCroix. They're just some of my favorite things to drink. Look at me. They taste like aluminum shit. Everything is spicy. Why is carbonation suddenly spicy? I mean, I know why, it's from a side effect from my med, but why is carbonation suddenly so spicy? Everything tastes like spicy aluminum? It's awful. My taste buds have changed dramatically, and most things that I eat taste awful. I tried celery with ranch the other day. Just about spit it out. Celery. I used to love celery. Bullshit. So like I talked about earlier with the full body, there can be that twitching that can happen in my face. It happens in my eyes with my eyelids. My eyes can twitch back and forth and up and down. When that happens, my vision is significantly decreased. My nose can twitch, which is the worst, but also my mouth twitches. And then it like shrinks down and I'm unable to talk. And sometimes at the same time, I experience lockjaw. Now with that lockjaw, it isn't like traditional lockjaw. It's my jaw gets really, really tight and I can't chew and it hurts to talk and it just becomes miserable. And that's a pretty new thing that has only happened starting the past 3 weeks, 2 weeks. So as I talked about way in the beginning of the video, I still have that pulsating tinnitus in my right ear. It's still every day, it still happens. But with it now, both my ears feel plugged, and I get sinus pain, almost like I have a sinus infection, but I don't have any symptoms of a sinus infection, so it's just associated with the pressure that's going on in my head. The next one is everyday care. This is probably the hardest one to talk about, because at 25, most people are experiencing their quarter-life crisis, and I am 25, laying in bed and trying to come to terms with the fact that I might be losing my vision and that I have a brain disease that has no cure. So with everyday care, like I stated earlier, I have my sister and my fiance who've kind of become my full-time caretakers. I've been trying to find more things to be independent on since I am so dependent on them. And one thing that I've done that's really helped me out is I have this pretty pillowcase. I got it off of Amazon. It's really helpful because I have short-term memory loss with all of this. And something as simple as being able to tell them, hey, I took my meds today because look, it looks like I took them from my pill box, is really helpful and has made me feel more comfortable with my medication and my short-term memory loss when I couldn't remember that I took meds, but now I can definitively see that I've taken them. Some other everyday care things that have been nice is I drink water every day. I have to drink almost 100 ounces, which for someone who has nausea is just like not fun, but I have to drink a lot of electrolytes as well. So that's something that I've also been doing that's been somewhat helping, but with the medication that I'm on, your electrolytes and potassium can get low, so it's really important to do those things because low electrolytes and potassium can f*** up your day. With my everyday care things, a lot of it just ropes into my side effects and the symptoms that I'm going through. Like, I'm not able to take my dogs out for a walk. I can't check the mail. I can't just get up and go whenever I want to. I can't go get coffee if I want to. I can't drive myself to my own doctor's appointments. I'm kind of dependent on the people around me, so I have a very small group of close family and friends that have been able to help me if I need help with everyday tasks, so that's been really helpful. Moving on to how does this affect me mentally? Oh boy, does it affect me mentally. One thing that I'm dealing with and that I've dealt with in the past is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I have this along with medical anxiety for other things that happened in my childhood in the medical, I guess, environment. I worked through that with a therapist and I have been for years, but the amount of just depression and anxiety and the grief cycle that I had to go through when all of this is getting piled on me. And it seems like every single doctor's appointment I go to, it's just more bad news. Or I have to constantly advocate for someone to care about my life. It gets draining. Mentally, I don't really have time to do anything. I spend most of my time just trying to exist. Like today, I've been in bed all day. I haven't been able to reply to people's messages. I slept really late. I took my meds. I'm in pain, though I might not be able to show it because I'm just on a camera. But you're in my intimate space. You're in my bedroom. And after this, I'll take a muscle relaxer and I'll go to bed because this is my daily activity. I only get to have one or two, so whatever energy I can use them on is kind of what I dedicate it to. So video chatting a friend sometimes is my only daily activity. And I'm lucky that I still get to work from home and I work very part-time, but if it's, being able to talk to a friend or go to work, what am I gonna do? I have to go to work and I have to be able to take care of myself because if I don't, I end up in the ER. So I'm thankful that I have my therapist. I'm thankful that the small, close group of the people who have been following me throughout this know what's going on and they don't seem to get upset when I talk to them because it's constantly morbid information. I don't go to appointments and get great news all the time. I often come home and it's, by the way, we're thinking of emergency brain surgery. And that can be a lot to put on somebody's life during all of this pandemic. So for that reason, I've not really told any of my real life friends. There's a few that know, so if you're one of the people that didn't know and you're watching this video because it was either on my personal Facebook or Instagram, wherever you may find it, hi, in real life friend. It's good to see you. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. And I'm sorry that I haven't been giving you the attention that I'm sure you deserve through all of this. But know that as soon as I muster up energy and that I'm able to evenly split it more, you are on my to-do list. You are there. You're a top priority. But I just have to make sure me functioning day to day is enough that I can get there eventually. One thing I've also been dealing with mentally is I had to cut all my hair off, which is something that a lot of in real life friends don't know either. I had hair like down to here, and I started having a lot of pain with the weight of my hair, which wasn't even that much. We shaved off 1/3 of it with an undercut, and that didn't help. I tried brushing through it one day and passed out. And I've had various short haircuts. I've had pixie cuts, shaved my head 6 times for St. Baldrick's, but this was the first time that my hair was taken away from me because of health and not because I got to choose it. So yeah, of course I don't like my short hair. It reminds me that I'm sick. It reminds me that I can only spend 10 seconds with my arms in the air before I no longer can feel them. It reminds me that I have to find bandanas to match my outfits because I'm ashamed that when people look at me in the ER, they're gonna see that my hair is short and think that I shaved it to get attention. I'm afraid of a lot of things mentally, but I'm just trying to take things one day at a time and sometimes just moment by moment. And last is the random other things. Oh, random other things. I hate you so. As I said, I can't really watch TV, I can't read, I can't really play video games anymore. There's a lot that I can't do, and I've gotten pretty desperate. I mean, I one day was telling my sister that I was about to go buy puzzles on Amazon because I just couldn't sit and let my life slip away anymore. It had been almost a month and I had nothing to do. So my wonderful family helped me get a Switch on the large TV, and now I can play Animal Crossing in very small doses, but it's better than what I used to be able to. And I also make kindness rocks. I paint rocks and I hide them around my complex where I live, and I hope that it makes people smile. But what are the random things I'm talking about? Well, let me tell you. The random things is where I will get a symptom or a pain or a twinge somewhere that nobody can f***ing understand why it's there. For example, I get some really bad muscle twinges, and nobody knows why. They just randomly happen and they can debilitate me, and I just have to sit there and deal with it. So the random other things are things otherwise not diagnosed. Things that during my journey, I hope that a doctor will look at me and say, oh, that makes sense, and then I can at least get some sort of relief for them. But here's the thing. Between you and me, I could sit here for hours and tell you all of my side effects. I could sit here for hours and tell you what hurts and what doesn't, what I can and can't remember, where my brain hurts and why. But I've only scratched the surface on what I deal with on an everyday life, which is why I created this YouTube channel. I am hoping that anybody that has IIH, or maybe that is getting a lumbar puncture, or seeing a neuro-ophthalmologist for whatever reason, or is going to an endocrinologist or a rheumatologist, is Googling and frantically was looking like I was on July 22nd, the last time I filmed this, and was going, I need somebody that I can look to who is another human and not a medical doctor or a medical diary on YouTube or Facebook that talks about their experiences and goes, hey, at least I have something to go off of. I'm on 2 or 3 Facebook groups who have been gems with IIH. I can link them below because they are so kind and warm and welcoming. I follow a subreddit, which is pretty nice. They post a little bit less, but they're really kind. I searched every single tag that I could think of. I searched IIH, pseudotumor cerebri, lumbar puncture. I was searching up things, just grasping at straws, trying to find somebody else. And I found a few. But as I've mentioned earlier, we kind of get to the point where we have to choose our own survival over some video making. And I don't mean to make this sound dramatic. That's kind of why I remade the other video. I felt like I was looking at myself and I was dramatic. But in reality, I'm not being dramatic. I'm not over-exaggerating any of this. I wish that I could tell you that I was. I wish that I could sit here and go, you know what? Maybe I am not this sick. Maybe this is anxiety. Maybe this is me adding on to things because I'm so nervous that my physical symptoms are being amplified. But at the end of the day, I'm just this sick and I'm just kind of lost. So in real life friends, hi. Welcome to my channel. I miss you all, and I hate not seeing your faces through this pandemic. Please wear masks. Please stay home. I'm high risk. So many people out there are. And I need you to stay home for people like me, for people like your neighbors, for people like your grandparents, your mothers, your fathers, your siblings. Because one day they might wake up a day in March and their life might not be the same, and you're gonna need to wear a mask for them. And welcome to my IIH friends or other chronic illness friends. Even if I've never met you before, we're friends now. Hi, I'm Rae. What's your name? If any of this resonates with you, please let me know. Please message me. I have an open door policy. I'll have my socials at the end. I want to help you in any way, shape, or form that I can. Even if that's just listening. Even if that's teaching you how to advocate the way that I had to learn in my very, very privileged existence. I am a white female in a very upper class area, though I am not upper class myself. I am very poor, but I go to very nice hospitals, and I'm very lucky that if I don't like a doctor, I can look at my doctor and say, sorry, I don't like you, and I can go the other way. But I've had to learn a lot of backwards ways to get what I need and what I want, and for doctors to just listen to my basic human rights. And I can't even imagine what it's like for people who are in a less position than myself. Whether that's a small town, whether it's that you're a person of color, whether it's that you've been dealing with medical issues your whole life and a doctor just won't listen to you. So let me help you. Let me be your voice. Let me sit here and tell you what I've learned in my experiences, and let me have my open door so that maybe I can help you even just a little, or at least be there, or at least be your friend, or your cheerleader, or whatever you need that day, because nobody deserves to be alone for something like this. And to be honest, I don't really have any other chronic ill friends. It's kind of just me in my bubble, vibing out to my brain disease by myself. And though my Facebook groups are really helpful, it would be really nice to meet other people one-on-one, messaging or video chatting or whatever, and sharing our channels and getting to know each other. So that way I have another person that I can relate to in hopes that you relate to me. So I guess that's it. That's the end of the video. I really wish I had more to say, but there will be other videos, including my lumbar puncture experience, which, oh boy, that one you'll need popcorn for, because that's still an ongoing video. I also will have videos on how things go with my rheumatologist, my neuro-ophthalmologist. I'll talk more about how my experiences are going if I end up getting stents. And when I do see my rheumatologist and find out what autoimmune diseases I have, I would love to be able to find other people who have those so I can kind of understand more, because like I said, all of this is really new to me. But until then, my name's Rae. Today I'm feeling kind of frustrated, but mostly in pain. And I hope that the next time I see you, you are feeling better, you're in less pain, that you are maybe happier than the situation that you're currently in, that you've drank water. Have you called your mom recently? Would it hurt you to maybe sleep an extra hour or two? When's the last time you did self-care? I'm watching you. Take care of yourself, please. Okay. Watching you.